Mansa Musa, a name you may not know, but it belonged to the richest man to ever live. When Mansa Musa ascended to the throne of Mali, he was inheriting an already prosperous kingdom, a territory rich in natural resources, in particular gold. It was a region ready to make its mark on the world. Gaining the throne following the departure of his predecessor, Abu Bakr II, who set off on a grand voyage of discovery with a large fleet of ships to never be seen again, Musa wasted no time in securing his legacy. With the talented general Saran Mandian alongside him, he expanded the army to around 100,000 men, including an armoured cavalry corps of 10,000 horses. Over the next few years, he would use this army to vastly expand his territory within Africa, becoming second in size only to the great Mongol Empire of Genghis Khan. Conquest provided not only more territory, but also further riches and access to valuable resources as his immeasurable wealth grew, hidden from the eyes of the world. An intelligent ruler, Musa divided his larger empire into provinces and appointed a governor for each. Trade was taxed and copper and gold mines constructed throughout the land. As we will soon learn, Musa was a famously generous man, and as the wealth and prosperity of the empire improved, so did that of its people. Luxuries and fine living became commonplace throughout the lands of Mali. It wasn't until some 12 years after ascending the throne that the wider world would learn the name Mansa Musa and find themselves amazed by the sudden appearance of this great king and his unrivaled wealth. As a devout Muslim, Musa took a decision to make the pilgrimage to Mecca. But far from a simple journey, it became the grand announcement of Mali and Musa himself onto the world stage. Preparations took years and involved the work of artisans in numerous towns and cities across the empire. When he eventually set off, he was not alone, but accompanied by tens of thousands of soldiers, slaves, and heralds draped in Persian silk and carrying golden staffs. Alongside this huge entourage were thousands of camels and horses bearing endless gold. Along his 4,000-mile journey, Musa left his mark wherever he travelled, making generous donations to the poor and charitable organisations, as well as rulers of other lands he crossed. His fame began to grow, and word of this golden king and his enormous entourage spread across the land. Eventually, he came to Cairo, where even the Sultan of Egypt was astounded by the wealth of Musa. Granting the Sultan a gift of 50,000 gold dinars, merely as a gesture of goodwill to honour their first encounter, he was met with a rather ignoble response. As the Sultan demanded, he kissed the ground in homage. Whilst many kings would have simply refused, Musa complied, demonstrating once again that his wealth was not born of selfishness or arrogance, but of genuine generosity. In fact, Musa and his entourage donated and spent such vast sums on their stay in Egypt that they unintentionally crashed the local economy, the price of gold taking 12 years to recover. Eventually completing his journey, Musa returned to Mali and, inspired by the wonders he had seen, brought back with him the best artisans from distant lands to construct grand buildings, the two most memorable of which being the great mosques at Gao and Timbuktu. He also brought with him scholars and many books, greatly encouraging reading and education in his expanded empire. As such, the Empire of Mali grew and prospered both in wealth and in culture, and Musa cemented his place in history as a great leader. But that is not what he will be most remembered for. Despite all his other accomplishments, of which there were many, he will forever be known as the richest man to ever live. And yet, his wealth did not define his life. As in an increasingly rare example, it was his generosity, rather than his gold, that ensures his name is spoken to this day with such reverence. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more great stories. Cheers.